Coming up on today's show.
What I feel is really missing is how do I organize the students? Because, college is very different than high school, or maybe in high school the student was dictated to what they actually needed.
They could take that, and do you recommend they kind of the first day or a week of class read that through and kind of be taking notes on the syllabus and then make that their index?
I have a student who screws up a test 3 weeks in. I don't want them to feel that all is lost.
Yes.
So by seeing that maybe that was only worth 10% and they still have 90 or 80 or 70% of their grade left.
Organizing beyond the dorm room. Today on Keeping You Organized. Hello, welcome to Keeping You Organized. It's that time of the year. People piled back to school. We did some of our back to school shows. We got people their backpacks, but people still need a little help, don't they? So I can only think of one great organizing expert who is the queen of helping, especially college students. It's Leslie Josell, Order Out of Chaos. Leslie, how you doing today?
I'm so good. I love being back here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we love having you too. And, we always think about you and your academic planner and, back to school. It's just like one of your things. But today we're going to talk about, it's more than just getting those supplies, right? And getting the dorm room kind of tidied up. There's more. Let's talk about that.
Well, there's so much more. And I love that you said that because I feel that, well, maybe not now, but when everyone is heading back to college, we're also focused on organizing the room and what do we need to buy at like Bed Bath & Beyond. And what I feel is really missing is how do I organize the students? Because, college is very different than high school, or maybe in high school, the student was dictated to what they actually needed. Like they get that list from a professor or, a teacher that says you need that 2-inch red binder. So now in college, you really are left to your own devices to figure out like what's going to work for me and what's not. And so I don't feel like we discussed that enough. So I came today with a few ideas.
What are some of the ideas you have for helping that actual student get organized?
Okay. So I'm going to say it off the bat before we even get started that I know, trust me, I know that every student organizes differently. Every student has different styles. So obviously you want your student to figure out what is going to work best for them. But here are some rules of thumb that I find works across all students, no matter what. So whether or not you have someone to start with the basics, like meaning is your student a binder kid or are they a spiral kid, it doesn't really matter. Most students will show up with usually a spiral notebook and a folder for each class. So here's my favorite tool that I use with all of my students, super inexpensive, and it's called a ring. And this is my favorite thing. I don't know if you guys can see it.
A ring, a nice metal ring. I mean, it's got to be nice 50 cents, right?
50 cents. They come in a pack, but believe it or not, all of my students say it is like the magic elixir for them to keeping everything together because they're rushing, they're running. And the other thing is they don't have the same class every day. Not like high school sometimes where you'll have the same class. So keeping it instantly organized by attaching your folder to your spiral is probably the easiest way for you to not even have to guess, I'm going to class or I want to go to the library. What do I need? You grab everything and it's instantly together. So every kid who works with me gets a package of these, if you can believe it.
Nice.
And I have never had any student, no matter how they organize, say it does not work for them. So this is my number one tool. Simple, but incredibly effective.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Number 2 tool.
Number 2, I'm putting it down. Sorry, because I have a lot of things next to me. I want to find it. So this is actually for your dorm room, but again, not usually on the list. So we know that dorm rooms are small and tight and have to be multi-purpose. They have to be your living room, your bedroom, your study rooms, for some kids even their kitchen. So I'm all about if you have a desk or a shelf and you have some, like a hutch, so you're talking about your airspace, that you kind of have a way to organize all the books and spirals and folders that come in. So my favorite tool, particularly if you have some shelf space for college students, doesn't matter again what kind of learner you are or organizer, are magazine files.
Yes.
What I particularly love about them is that you can either get them clear so your student can see exactly what's in them, or you can get them in different colors. So if you have a color coded kid, okay, so like if they're, if economics is going to be green and the folder's green and the spiral's green, you can even get a green magazine magazine file, label it, and everything for that class goes in here. Right. So when that room gets messy and the desk gets piled, at least the books are up and separated so that they're easily accessed. And then the other reason why I really love them is if you have a student that's taking, let's say, an English class and they have like 6 or 7 small, let's say, plays or books, that's a lot that they have to keep track of. Everything goes in here.
That is awesome. Plus they can probably fit under the bed too if it can't fit on a shelf. Right?
Exactly. They can fit them under the bed. That's so good that you said that. I actually have a student whose printer is under the bed, and on a little riser, he has his magazine files.
Nice.
So I love them. And again, if you work with me, they're a requirement. And these are things that are tried and true. I've worked with, this point, probably thousands of kids, and every single one of them use them and say it really helps to define the room and also so that they can find what it is they need and keep things like orderly and accessed. So
right. I think we've only spent about $2 or $3 so far too. So that's pretty decent.
It's very funny you said that. You'll notice that about me. Like I don't spend a lot of money on things because I don't think you have to. Right. I think that there are just some tools out there that are super inexpensive but super effective. Right. So this might cost you a few more dollars, but maybe 11 or 12. Again, and I'm going to be blunt, when you're paying for college.
Right. That's nothing compared to what they charge for tuition, right?
Exactly. This is petty cash, if you want my opinion. Right. So okay. Again, this is something fun that every student who works with me gets we send them a package of supplies and tools that we want them to have. And this is in everybody's toolkit, are giant Post-it notes. But I mean the giant ones, and these are even only 11 by 11. And you can even get them bigger. Whoa, and why do I love them? Because again, they can be used for so many reasons. And for every student I have has a different way of using them. So for example, I have a student who is on trimesters, and that's how he does all of his planning, by just putting giant Post-its on a wall. I have kids that leave themselves reminders because they're movable.
Yes.
So they can, even believe it or not, they can take it with them. I have kids that stand up to do work because movement helps to lay down learning. So they use them to work out calculus problems or astronomy problems, whatever it is they're working on. But there's just something very tactile and fun about having giant sticky notes. So I have a lot of students that are very against cork boards and calendars, but yet for some reason, sticky notes and Post-its, I think because of their tactileness and that they can move them, really engage the student and help keep them organized.
Great. Those are good products. We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, I know you have more. I just know it because I know you, right? So hang tight there, folks. We're going to be back in just a moment with Leslie Josel. We're talking about beyond the dorm room organizing here on Keeping You Organized, and we'll be right back. New solutions for your desktop from MyOrganize.life. Fall is a time for a change in colors, and now you can brighten up your desktop with organizing products from MyOrganize.life. Colorful, fresh, invigorating. Give your desktop a new look with new desktop solutions from MyOrganize.life. That's MyOrganize.life. MyOrganize.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about beyond the dorm room organizing, and we are getting all kinds of great tips today from Leslie Josel. She brought her show and tell So that kind of rhymes, Show and Tell with Leslie Josell.
With Leslie Josell. I like that title.
That could be a whole nother show maybe. So anyway, well, Leslie, let's move on. We've talked about 3 pretty decent kinds of things that people can use. What else do you got in your little bag of tricks?
Okay, so this is a little bit different. This is not as much organizing the student as it's about organizing information. And to me, that's like the most important thing. So I'm old, John, but some things about college has not changed, and that is getting a syllabus from your professor. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college, the syllabus was dense. It was like, 18 pages, tiny font, and just pages and pages and pages of information. It hasn't changed. So imagine if you're a student and now you've gotten 5 of them. Let's say you're taking 5 classes. What's the over under that your student has really read it? And I mean really read it, read their syllabus. Basically what they do is they tend to flip through it and go to the back where their daily assignments are, or whether, midterm final information, because that's all they seem to focus on.
Right.
Not for me. If you work with me, you get a syllabus test, believe it or not, because the syllabus is gold. There is so much information in there that you need. And unfortunately, and we know this, particularly if you have a student that might have attention deficits or some learning issues, that details are not your friend.
Right.
The devil's in the details. So my favorite story, and I'm going to make it super quick, is a student of mine who took a theater class and had to see every play on campus and had to hand in a synopsis every Monday. The synopsis did very well, but what they were supposed to do is clip the playbill from the show to the synopsis so that the professor knew they went. That was a tiny detail on the bottom of page 11. My student completely missed it because, again, not reading the syllabus. So my favorite thing I do, and I have this on everybody's back to school college shopping list, are sheet protectors.
Yes.
Again, not expensive. So every college student needs to have some, because what it does is 2 things. If you have something that is hefty and weighty, like, a chart or verbs or whatever it is you're taking, that needs to have prominence. It needs to go into a sheet protector, and it needs to go either in the front of a folder or binder, accordion, whatever it is you're using.
Right.
But
and I think also too, there's other things that work like a sheet protector too. There's envelopes that are 3-hole punch. There's
exactly
lots of different options there.
But what we want is something that's 3-holed. If you're having a binder, or something that's clear that will protect it and make it stand out. But within that, so for example, what we'll do is we'll create what's a cheat sheet. So for something like formatting your English paper, it might list something like every paper needs to be in 12-point font, Times New Roman. It needs to be handed in every Friday at 4:59 on turnitin.com. Right. Details like that can really make or break your student and their success, because that for me is what I find to be what trips up students the most, are the details. It's not the syllabus and the information of I need to read page 52 and do problems 1 through 10, but what are the details that I'm going to miss that might then take points off my grade?
It's kind of like an index for the syllabus, right? So they could take that, and do you recommend they kind of the first day or a week of class read that through and kind of be taking notes on the syllabus and then make that their index?
100%. So the joke is, if you know me, that any student that works with me, I get their syllabi and then I actually give them a syllabus quiz, believe it or not, because I need to know that you have read your syllabus backwards and forward. If you do not work with me, it's exactly what you just said. You need to find a quiet place. You need to print out those syllabi, because most of them now are online, and I want them in your hand, tactile, so you can highlight, go through them first, highlight the things that you're going to need that are not your day-to-day. That I know you're looking at. But those little details that are often missed, I want you to highlight those and then type up something or handwrite it, whatever, and put them in some type of protective thing, right, and give it its prominence. So for some kids, we'll throw it in their magazine file. That's where they keep it. Mm-hmm. So that every time they're working on that class, They pull it out. They say, okay, now I know I'm writing my theater thing. I have to put the ticket. I have to put the playbill. It needs to go to my professor's office by 11:59 on Friday afternoons.
Got it.
That's what I want.
Awesome. That is incredible. You still have more
Thank
things
you.
for us?
I'm sorry?
Do you still have more in your bag of tricks?
Oh, please. How long do you have?
Only a few more minutes, actually, but let's go for it.
All right. I'm going to give you one more thing that I actually think is a really interesting point, again, no matter what kind of student you have. And it kind of goes to this whole pulling information out of the syllabus. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I really like to suggest is that the percentages that are given on a syllabus, so homework is worth 15%, midterm maybe is worth 50%. I want you to take that information and I want you to put it on the other side of this cheat sheet.
Ooh.
Because what I feel, and this is a serious thing, but again, it's about where this show is about organizing so that we decrease anxiety, so we feel successful, so we feel good about ourselves and what we have in place. I have a student who screws up a test 3 weeks in. I don't want them to feel that all is lost.
Yes.
So by seeing that maybe that was only worth 10% and they still have 90 or 80 or 70% of their grade left, it helps them to keep the stress level down, the anxiety down. And it also, to some degree, can also be a procrastination buster because they're like, okay, I got to kick it into gear now. I still have 80% of my grade and I want to do better. Now I'm going to bring my effort level up. So it's a great tool to get people, to get the gears going, but it's also a great tool to bring, I feel, anxiety and that, oh my God, I'm done. I failed the class before I've even gotten my feet wet out of the equation.
Right. So, and you don't want to, like you say, the last 2 or 3 weeks of, you don't want to be playing the game of this class and realizing that now you can't win because the odds are against you, the percentages are against you because you should have dealt with this earlier in the semester.
That's a great point. You're really nipping things in the bud, first of all. Like I'll even add to that on that if you're even if the professor says, you take 10 quizzes and we throw the lowest one out, or there's always room for extra credit. Right. Those things out of the syllabus and in your eye line, I find for my students in particular really helps to bring anxiety down and helps the student, as I call it, diminish that parade of horribles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, awesome. Well, Leslie, these have been great tips. Before we go, can you just tell us, do you still have room for a few students this semester to work? Or how do people get a hold of you and follow what you do?
So the best thing we tell everyone is to go to our site. The name of my company is Order Out of Chaos, but our site is Order OO Chaos. And from there, you can find anything and anything you need from us, our products, our webinars, our workshops, our social media feeds, all of that you can get from that one place.
Awesome. Well, these are great tips, and I know there's probably even more. We're going to have to do another show on another day because there's always the issue of students and organization. That problem's going to be with us for centuries. So sometimes
never ending.
That's right. So we'll have you back again another time.
Sure.
All right.
Love it.
Well, there you have it, folks. You've gotten beyond the dorm room now, and you've gotten some of those really good things, especially with that syllabus. Really go back and watch this episode or listen again. Go to the show notes. Contact Leslie because this is an area that really can help your student have great success. And we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.